man, over the last 12 months or so, it seems like so many mountain bike YouTubers have changed things drastically, or they're just straight up abandoning their channels or totally leaving the YouTube platform altogether. And that includes me, us here at the Loam Ranger channel. So what the heck is going on here? Let's have a little chat. So why is this happening? Well, I'm not gonna speak for all those different people because there's just an endless number of different situations out there. I cannot speak for everybody. I can speak for me, and I've grown pretty close to a lot of these people who you are seeing make pretty big changes recently. I do feel like there are some common themes that run through everything, and here are a few of them. I had to write some stuff down. I had to write a lot of things down, actually. So there are 4 different challenges that I see that have been the biggest reason for all of this. 1, content creation challenges. What the audience watches or wants to watch has changed a lot over the years. The novelty of straight up POV filming is largely worn off, and the audience kind of expects more from mountain bike videos nowadays, and I don't blame them. I do too. And with so much more pre-production, production, post-production going on, which, by the way, a lot of us enjoy doing, it just means so much more time, effort, energy, and money that has to go into making every single video that we put out. Versus like years ago, 2016, 2017, you know, a lot of us were putting out like 3 videos. I was putting out 2 videos a week, which nowadays I can never even fathom putting out that many videos that often. But of course it was different. I could go to a trail network with my action camera and my gimbal, ride all day, have nothing left at the end of it. But we would be driving back home with 4 videos worth of content that I could edit and put out, a pretty quick succession. It's not really how it works anymore. So the content that we are making or want to make or have to make, it just requires a whole lot more from the creator. Number 2 is industry challenges. As we all know, the bike industry is a little bit of a lull right now, which is kind of weird because like overall numbers are still up from, pre-COVID levels, but everybody knows the story, everybody knows what has happened. And so sponsorship funds are a little slim right around now. We have been fortunate to be working with these amazing partners who are supporting us and sponsoring us, like the Inside Line, which is an online bike shop based out of Calgary here, Ibis Cycles, Michelin Tires, SDG, and of course Insta360, but it is not like that for everybody. It's tough times out there. And we have had more than one sponsor just have to totally cut out. Like if you'll notice, there's a couple sponsors missing from that list I just mentioned. And that's because these companies are having to make some really tough decisions all around. And it's generally always marketing that gets cut first. Number 3 is a big one, and that's personal challenges. There have been personal things that have happened in a number of people's lives, good things and not so great things, that have made continuing on in the same way pretty much impossible. I'm not gonna dig into anybody else's stories, but I can touch on our own. And one big example for us is like end of 2023, like September 2023. On a filming trip, Beth crashed and sustained a really bad head injury that she has still not fully recovered from. And yes, I know it was her idea to go and film herself riding off that feature. She wanted it to be a story of her and our friend Sarah conquering this one trail network out in northern BC. And so I get it. It's like not directly my fault or whatever, but after seeing my wife laying motionless on the ground, passed out, not breathing, that was really, really scary. And 2 weeks later, I broke a bunch of ribs on my side, and so both of us were out. And we're like parents, we have kids, but it was Beth's accident that really hit me super, super hard. And that changed things forever, because from that day, I have never, and I will never, ever make it so that it is even remotely possible for somebody that I love to get hurt like that on a Loam Ranger filming trip. Which points back to how, the types of content that gets views has altered the way that I think about the future of the channel. Because there are basically 3 types of videos in general that get views in the mountain bike world, and especially on our channel. 1, attempting seriously scary features that could cause serious injury. 2, crashing on scary features and getting seriously injured. And 3, how-to/explainer videos. And if you look at over the content that I put out over the last year, can you guess which types of videos we don't do anymore? Yeah. But out of all of those challenges that I just went through, there is one main cause for the exit or massive change by many YouTubers. Not all of them, but many of them. And this counts for us as well. And we've got to go back about 10 years to find out what that is. People have been posting bike videos to YouTube since its very beginning in the early 2000s. But it wasn't until like late 2015, early 2016, that wearable gimbal technology changed everything. This janky chunk of metal right here made it possible to capture point of view or POV riding footage that wouldn't make the audience feel sick immediately. which was a whole new thing. Up until this thing came out, pretty much all onboard POV riding footage was essentially, for the most part, unwatchable. And maybe even more importantly was audio. Because if you wanted to put your action camera into this gimbal, you had to take it out of its protective case, which pretty much everybody was using at the time. I've said it before and I will say it again, this right here is one of the worst things to ever happen to action sports videography. Because with the camera stuck on the inside of one of these, which everybody's was, it made the audio so brutally terrible that again, it just made the footage something that nobody would ever want to actually sit and watch. So now all of a sudden there was a filming setup that was smooth enough and sounded good enough that you could actually enjoy onboard riding footage. And most critically for what we're talking about here, this setup also meant that now the camera could clearly capture what the rider was saying while they were riding at the same time. Because remember, before this moment, if you wanted to record like decent quality mountain biking footage, it required a whole crew and audio professionals and tens of thousands of dollars worth of recording and audio equipment just to have something truly watchable. Which by the way, like camera like this, like Insta360 X4, this was the dream, the absolute dream back then. I have it written in notebooks of a perfect camera, and now we've got them, which is pretty sick. So now all of a sudden there was this unique opportunity for creative mountain bikers who didn't mind wrestling with technology a little bit and ironing out some kinks, because there were a lot between this and the cameras that we were using at the time to try and make them look and sound good still. It wasn't a set it and forget it kind of thing, that's for sure. But for those people, they were able to get out on the trail and share their own little slice of the sport that they loved. And they did that by uploading their videos to YouTube. And for context, at the time, pretty much all other mountain bike media was just pro racing or pro riders doing shred-its. And nearly all of that content was watched on really like 1 or 2 mountain biking websites. It was all very, very centralized. Right up until it wasn't. All of a sudden you can click into YouTube and watch a video that looked good, sounded good, involved somebody that you could relate to, taking you through a very cool trail that you could actually see yourself riding. And it wasn't just somebody silently bumbling down the trail. They were describing what was going on, their surroundings, the grip levels, the sounds, the smells, the local culture, and oftentimes what was going on in their own lives. This obviously sounds like super commonplace now, but at the time it was a breath of fresh air. And many who dove in and started filming and publishing videos in that first like 12 to 18 month time span, they now account for a lot of the larger mountain bike YouTube channels that you see on the platform, like Nate Hills and BKXC and Single Track Sampler, BCPOV, our channel, and a number of others. We all got rolling with creating mountain bike specific POV footage right around that time. It was this very specific type of footage that caught on really quickly, but those who dove into things right at first, and many afterwards, they're all folks who had creative backgrounds already. They were already making things. There were video game designers and entrepreneurs and photographers, videographers, people who work in the film industry. The list goes on. It was this new tech that, that's so janky. It was this new tech that arrived on the scene that had these people recognizing its potential for telling interesting, fun, educational stories within the world of mountain biking. So the people that run I would say all the channels that you see and the people who have, exited the platform or totally changed things up, they're all very creative people. They were before, they were then, and they will be forever. Very creative people who have a higher than normal tolerance for risk. And no, I'm not just talking about risk on the trail. I'm talking about general life risk. What I'm getting at here is this. Take your favorite mountain bike YouTuber. Being a mountain bike YouTuber is not who they are. It's just what they've decided to do for a period of their life. Who they are is a person who wants to share their experience in creative ways. That's who they were before mountain bike YouTube, and that's who they'll be after mountain bike YouTube. We like to make stuff and share stuff. Make stuff, share stuff. It's why so many of us have backgrounds as musicians. Make stuff, share stuff. It's why so many of us had other types of YouTube channels before we started our mountain bike YouTube channel. Like heck, look at this clip of me and my friend from a video we made in 2012. And all that was for a battery review. Or most notably, there's the R3 channel, which stands for Ryan's Road to Rally. And this is all part of a series where I have less than 1 year to go from lifelong rally fan to competitive rally racer in a real life championship. We're using sim racing and an old low budget rally car to get there. How far can we take this? Hit that subscribe button if you like, and let's find out. So to my point, I have loved rally racing just as long as I've loved mountain biking. I think I got into both of them within the same year. We're talking like late 90s, folks, okay? It's been a while. So with a very strong forever urge to make and share, especially if it's sharing my own experience in a way that could be helpful for others, this R3 channel was always going to happen. And it's a very, very similar story for so many other mountain bike creators. A lot of these people have been creating literally hundreds and hundreds of mountain bike videos over the course of, and sometimes longer than 10 years. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos where every single one, believe me when I say this, every single one was so much work. So much work. And it is always the exact same feeling when you go and hit the publish button. Same feelings every time. So the gist of that whole last point was all of these people that you know in the mountain biking space, we're all just creative people. We like to make stuff, share stuff, and I know pretty much all of us, we're never gonna stop doing that, ever. Things change in your life, and you know, when you've made a decade worth of mountain bike videos, sometimes it's cool to make a different type of video. And again, I don't wanna specifically speak for anybody, but like those 4 aspects of life as a modern day YouTube creator in the mountain biking space, it's some combination of those 4 things. Most of the time, it's a little mix of all of them that have had people stepping back or stepping away. Now, what does all this mean for the Loam Ranger channel? Well, I can say 2 things that are both equally true. 1, it's time to dive into something new. And 2, I still have more things that I want to do with the Loam Ranger channel. But I'll tell you this, when I run out of Loam Ranger videos that I want to make, I'm just gonna stop. That'll be it. I won't make more. I have a pretty dang long list of videos that I want to share still, and I'm gonna make every single one of them. But the frequency of those releases is gonna be pulled back. I'm going for quality over quantity here, which also gives me more time to work on the rally channel, which is important to me. But when I get an idea for a fun video, whether that's 2 years from now or 10 years from now, I'm gonna make it and I'll just put it out on the channel, because that's what this is all from. This is where it all started. It's just stuff I just really wanna make. So yeah, the Loam Ranger channel is changing, but you're not quite rid of me just yet. And I wanna thank all the other mountain bike creators out there, because truly one of the very best things that came out of starting all of this crazy journey has been getting to know all of them, because they're really great people. And I couldn't imagine a better group of folks to have spent time with over the last, almost 10 years. So I hope this helped give a little bit of insight as to what's happening in the MTB YouTube space. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments, and I'll try and do my best to answer them. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. And we will see you on the next one.